Hello everyone and welcome to the F1 corner. Beautiful day here, winter day, walking in the snow in the park, bringing you once again some off-season news from the Formula One world, including some interesting piece of information about the contract of Lewis Hamilton, which I remind you has not signed yet for 2021. Before we get to that, please remember to hit the like button and to subscribe. So let's start. Just mentioned it. Lewis's Hamilton contract not signed yet, not expected to sign until before preseason testing in March, which is pretty late, even though we are also pretty sure he will sign. But what we heard this week is that some of the shareholders of the Mercedes company actually blocked a contract that Hamilton was supposed to sign for in 2020 during the season. So just to put everything back into perspective, a few months ago the Mercedes company was restructured. When they announced that Toto Wolff was staying with the company, they said that now him, Daimler, and their title sponsor Ineos were all three of them holding 1/3 of the Mercedes company. So in this case here, it is the Daimler side of the shareholders that blocked the contract that Hamilton was supposed to sign for the value of 4 seasons and $50 million in each season, which is a lot of money, and would make sure that Hamilton would be the highest paying driver on the grid. So blocked this contract for two main reasons. Obviously, the amount, and also blaming Hamilton's attitude overall. So we're not sure what this means, but there are a few things that do come to mind in my when I think about it. Hamilton, been pushing all year with the for the end racism movement and everything he does regarding that, which is very noble cause. I have nothing against it, and really we need to fight racism and all of its form around the world. But I can't think on top of my head about a few moments during the season where Hamilton's comment and gestures were a tiny bit controversial regarding this. And like it or not, I mean, Mercedes is a business, and if one of the driver is into a controversy, it does not look well for the business. And everything he did on the podium and when he was commenting in interviews this season, yes, promoting the anti-racism movement, but it was kind of a double-edged sword in the sense that looking on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media, you could see that many people were also just thinking, shut up and drive. It's all right to talk about it. It's all right to try to sensibilize people about it, but at some point, yeah, people are, I think it's a bit a mix of also tired of seeing Mercedes always on top, mix into that for sure. But when it's too much, it's too much. I mean, personally, I think it is a very noble cause, but I also do think that sometimes Lewis Hamilton is doing too much and is looking like trying to look like a pitiful boy and want us to have pity of him. Not saying he's not a good driver, he's an excellent driver, that's a completely other issue. But I think this is what the shareholders were meaning by attitude problem for Hamilton. And if Hamilton is not back, who would replace him? Which would be very surprising though. But currently the Daimler shareholders was gunning for George Russell to replace Lewis. I mean, Russell did perform very impressively at the Sakir Grand Prix when he replaced Hamilton, who was sick with COVID, and even made look Bottas a bit, a bit bad, made him look bad. But it is not set in stone, and from everything we hear, there will be a contract signed by the beginning of preseason testing in March. Throughout the whole season, the two parties, Hamilton and Toto Wolff, team principal of Formula One, were saying that they had other priorities for why they did not sign a contract, but seems like those other priorities were more on the management side, and I mean, that's what you get. I'm sure Ineos and Toto Wolff both want Hamilton back. On the Daimler side, I'm saying that they don't necessarily want him back. I think it's just a matter of convincing the big guy, who I'm pretty sure all three of the shareholders have a veto that they can put on. And with the talk of a possible salary cap in a few years, if they were to sign Hamilton with $50 million, I mean, that's $20 million cut from your team budget, which is also pretty understandable. So, to be continued on that subject. What else do we have? Let's stay with the Mercedes news. Williams. I know. Williams, Mercedes. Williams have signed an extended deal with Mercedes. From 2022 onward, they will use more parts from their mother supplier, namely a gearbox and other various parts, is what they said. But here the interesting part is the fact that Williams from 2022 onward will use a Mercedes gearbox, because up to this point, up to today, Williams have always manufactured their own gearbox for their car. So moving forward, it will be a Mercedes gearbox, which does make sense because they are using their powertrain, their engine. So linking all of that together just makes for a better car. It is also, in the current economical situation, a move that makes sense, will help Williams save some money. And it is also testimony of the change in philosophy at Williams, with the new owners, Doroton Capitals, who bought the team from the Williams family earlier in 2020. And they did make themselves reassuring by saying that the chassis and everything else will still be built by Williams. They are still a team that want to build their car as much as possible. But this is also where Formula One is heading when you look at Haas, who buys pretty much everything they can from Ferrari. Same for Alfa Romeo. The Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri, and the Red Bull team sharing a lot of parts, and even the Racing Point, who was a copy of 2019 Mercedes. But this is where Formula One is at the moment, and there's no shame in that. I think if it helps save money, it's just for the best. As long as, in my opinion, as long as every team keeps building their own chassis, I am fine with it. I don't have any trouble if they buy all the inside, all the guts of the car from someone else, as long as they build their own chassis to keep it, a constructor championship, if I can say. Let's move away. No, let's stay with Mercedes link team. Aston Martin, previously Racing Point, officially changed their logo on social media for Aston Martin Racing. Well, their title sponsor was also announced yesterday, on Thursday, January 7th. Cognizant, an IT firm, will be their title sponsored. Main color of Aston Martin will be green, as per what we can see on their logo, and a small tease of their sponsor sticker on the car seems to show potential green livery on the Aston Martin Formula 1 livery of the team that will be revealed somewhere in February. Maybe not the 2021 car, but we will at the very least see what it will look like. So potentially 2020 car with the 2021 colors to show it off. And we also saw pictures of both drivers, Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll, from up close, but with a green color-ish. So teasing also that green will be the color of their race suits. Good news for Aston Martin, pretty cool. Let's keep going forward toward the opening of the season. Current calendar shows Australia, Melbourne, as the first race on the calendar in March, but it is pretty unlikely to happen. According to sources at our colleagues at Sky Sports, the Australian Grand Prix will probably have to be delayed. And this is because of the current COVID-19 restrictions in Australia. Basically, if the Formula 1 teams were to go there, they would have to observe a 2 to 3 weeks quarantine prior to the event, which cannot work with the current calendar because it would impede the pre-season testing, which absolutely cannot happen. This testing is crucial for Formula 1, for all the teams. They cannot cut on the testing, especially since already they are cutting 2 days this year. They're going to have 6 testing days instead of 8 from last year. So likely that the race will be postponed later during the year. We don't know when, but reliable sources saying that the race will not be in March and that the season opener will actually be the Bahrain Grand Prix, which we were in November, just a few weeks ago. At the time I'm recording this, 5-6 weeks ago. Man, time flies by. So stay tuned, but it's nothing to be bummed out. I mean, the calendar currently have 23 races on it, so it's not like we are losing a lot, but it is a real shame because Australia is definitely one of the coolest place for Formula 1 to go, even though it's not the most exciting race. For having been there in 2019, I can say it is a pretty cool event. And we are gonna end the day by wishing Lando Norris a good recovery. He has been diagnosed on Tuesday with COVID-19. Said on social media that he's feeling well, just a few minor symptoms like loss of smell and taste, but he isolated himself immediately after recognizing those symptoms. Told everyone he was in contact with that to watch for themselves, got a test done, and currently self-isolating in Dubai, where he was on holiday. And we will just follow the situation on social media, but it looks like it's gonna be painless and he should recover from it. Only mild symptoms. Take care, Lando Norris. Thank you everyone for watching once again this Formula 1 vlog. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you again pretty soon. Season starts in about 2 months, and yeah, sure, there's plenty of news that will come by then. So thank you for watching, and oh, Happy New Year everyone. Thank you. Take care.